Hi guys, how are you doing? Here today as well, about to go to the gym, as always. Look at this guy. Oh! So today I want to talk about how to train harder. So you won't stay a beginner forever. That's normal, okay? That's pretty clear. After, I'd say, a couple of months, you're not gonna be a total newbie there. So I'm gonna have you training harder. So to train harder, you just need to go a little further than what you were going to when you were training as a beginner. What do I mean by this? After, let's say, 6 months to a year of training, you're gonna have the body of someone who trains regularly. So your tendons and ligaments will be ready for some much more intense kind of training. There are a few steps that you need to take in order to not injure yourself before training as hard as you can. I personally believe that training until failure is the best technique for muscle growth. You know, strength training is a whole another topic. You see power lifters that are so big, they're massive, and they lift incredible amounts of weight for one rep. You know, they do PRs, 1 rep maxes, 5 reps sets. That's not what we're aiming to here. Our goal is to build muscle in order to, look good, losing fat, etc. So our goal here is to prioritize muscle growth. Before training as hard as you can, you need to do a proper warm-up. This is crucial. Without some proper warm-up, you're going to injure yourself. Warm-up is non-negotiable, okay? That's pretty clear. For example, during my back day, I do about 5 minutes of free body warm-up. Swirl my arms around, I do this thing with my elbows, I do some tendon therapy, we call that, because of tennis elbow. I got that 2 years ago. And then I go for some sets of pull-ups. Though when I start with the lat machine, I start with 10 kgs, that's the minimum that you can put on the machine, and then walk my way up until my proper sets, they're around 70 to 75 kgs, okay? So I gradually warm up my muscles with loads, okay, with weights. After a proper warm-up, that includes warming up your muscles and your tendons, joints, ligaments, whatever you want to call them, you're going to focus on form. A good execution of an exercise is non-negotiable, at least in my opinion. There are some movements that are pretty dangerous if done incorrectly, that can lead to pain, discomfort, or even injury. So that's something I really consider taking my time to master the ability of having good form in exercises. So to improve your form in your exercises, you will need to put your ego out of the gym, okay? You leave it out of the gym, because ego lifting gets you injured. That happens pretty much 99% of the time, okay? So do not ego lift. Choose a proper set of weights and focus on slow, controlled reps, especially the negative parts, that's what matters the most. let's talk about the main topic, okay? To train hard, you gotta take your sets to failure. At least this is my opinion, but as many people have already discussed, the taking your sets to 1 to 2 reps in reserve, that's when you stop before failure, and you missed failure by 1 to 2 reps. That's pretty much impossible, you just gotta guess. It's like you either have a crystal ball that tells you exactly how many reps you got, or you're just eyeballing it, okay? I don't find anything even remotely scientific in guessing which rep you're at, okay? So if science tells you that the best style of training is training with a 2 reps, 3 reps, 1 rep in reserve, how can you know that? You can know how many reps you got left. I can't. Maybe, I don't know, Jeff Nippard can't. I can't. So I train until failure. Now, as I said, you must not be a beginner to do this because you'll get injured, okay? This is clear. So when you're 1 year, 6 months, 1 year into training consistently, you can train a failure, in my opinion, okay? Just don't get injured, okay? Take rest days, etc. So to train to failure, you have to choose a proper set of weights that enables you to hit at least, I'd say, 6, 8, I'd aim to 10 reps, because otherwise you're just training strength, okay? Your muscle fibers aren't really breaking that much, and you're just powerlifting at that point, if that makes sense, So let's say you hit failure at 11 reps. What does failure look like? Maybe you've seen some jack dudes pushing the barbell again and again, grunting. That's not failure, okay? That might look very tiring, it is, but that's not failure. Failure is when you take so much time to complete 1 rep, you're absolutely in excruciating pain, you're making such facial expressions, you look dumb as, and that's when you really want to bitch out so much, because it really hurts. It's generally one of the worst pain that I've ever experienced, okay? And that's something that you are putting yourself through deliberately, okay? So it's so easy to bitch out of it. If you want to train a failure, you gotta overcome that, okay? There are some muscles that are way harder to train to failure than others. Legs, my quads hurt so bad on the leg extension that I want to bitch out every single time. I just endure it, I make some facial expressions that someone may think I'm crazy. But that's how it works, okay? That's training to failure. You want to grow muscle as fast as you can, as best as you can, as much as you can, you gotta do that, okay? That's how it works. I do one step further. Failure is when you can't push the weight and complete the last rep, okay? That's failure. I sometimes go past that. Who was it? I go past that and do what I believe was Tom Platz calling them baby reps. So let's say you got 30 centimeters, 30 centimeters range of motion. A baby rep is when you do 15 and then 10 and then 5. It's when you can't physically push the weights any further. That's going past failure. I do that with shoulders, with lateral raises. They hurt so much. I got so little tolerance in my deltoids that I literally need to go up to 15 baby reps in order to completely fatigue my muscle until it can't move the weight anymore. But it's so painful that I want to bitch out every second of the set, okay? Even when I start, it starts burning like crazy. So this is failure. I hope you've got what I meant. It's pretty hard to explain something that needs to be shown. I'll eventually record some videos of me training, so it may help you understand what failures look like, so you can do it in the gym by yourself. So I've covered everything I want to talk about, so I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.